Grand Rising, Divine Rising. Y'all gonna notice my volume is going up and down because my ear has been ringing ever since last night. My ear been ringing like crazy. But it put me into the mindset of embracing the pace. It put me into the mind frame of embracing the pace, bringing yourself into this reality with yourself of embracing that pace. Embracing the pace. The only thing that's stopping you is you. The only thing that's stopping you is you. Embracing the pace. Embracing the higher frequency, that higher vibration, that higher flow. Everything in the highest aptitudes of ourselves moves at a pace that cannot be stopped. It's motion, it's momentum. Think about when I think about the momentum, when I think about the momentum of me moving forward, me removing my obstacles, me removing doubt, me removing all of these thoughts that no longer serve me, I think about the Juggernaut. Y'all, if you ever seen X-Men, think about the Juggernaut. Once he starts his motion, it's kind of hard to stop him. You gotta knock his helmet off. That's where you at right now. I think about my motions now. My fluid and my motions is not based off of feeling. When I think about the things that I do in my day, it's not based off feeling. Where everybody wants to be in a certain feeling or to be in a certain mood. I got to be in a mood to do this. I got to be in a mood to do that. I noticed that me always trying to wait until I was in a certain mood or in a certain position or I was in a certain time. I noticed that was the thing that would hold me back. It was my own thought of, I got to wait until I'm in the mood to do this. I got to wait until I'm in that feeling. I got to be able to feel it to do it. Instead of me learning that discomfort for myself was what's going to help me learn that position. I had to learn that if I was waiting for a mood, I was waiting for a time, then I would never be ready. I would never maximize my potential. Your potential cannot be maximized in places that keep you stagnant. Your energy cannot be cultivated in places that keep you stagnant. Your growth cannot you cannot tap into this new level of growth for yourself when you're stuck in a space where you may be talking to a void. This is that ripple effect. As you coming into and you embracing this pace, you're going to notice a ripple effect. This ripple effect is going to be made by two parts. One, your initial thought. So my initial thought is like, okay, cool. My initial thought used to be, and it's a process that's training you to get out of that mood that you got to be in. Now for me, I've been going back to the gym. Boom, boom. I've been going back to the gym since August of last year. In order for me to learn the most uncomfortable shit, I had to push myself. I was like, I'm going to go not at a most opportune time to my old self, which means like, if I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to go to the gym when I'm in the mood, like when I need to do, no. I put myself to going to the gym first thing when I wake up. Get myself ready to go to the gym. That was the most uncomfortable shit ever. It was uncomfortable as hell. I had to wake up. I had to get my mind right. I had to set the tone. I had to do so many of these things to get myself in that position. I had to do so much. I was like, man, okay, cool. After a while, I noticed that the more that I was in that position of discomfort, in that pace of discomfort of waking myself up, I noticed that I was seeing the results faster. Since my path was in the discomfort, the least chosen path, I started to see my results for myself. That's going to be the key of you embracing your pace. It's not going to be based on everybody else seeing your results. It's not going to be on everybody else seeing you change, seeing you evolve, seeing you come into yourself. This is one of the things that we stop. We hinder our own pace because we're waiting for everybody to. We still have this underlying thought in ourselves. Remember the wounds I've been getting into we've been getting into these wounds all month. This is wound month. This is wound month. This is just that trigger aspect. I learned for myself that I was like, when I'm not in the right position, when I'm not in the right position, what else am I going to blame? This is the soup of being vulnerable with yourself and being open with yourself, being honest. I was like, the only one that's stopping me from going to what I need to do is me. I can blame society, but then society is what's in my personal environment. I created the society. I created the society. I created the they. I created that aspect. I accepted it. I'm of it, but I want to be a part of it so bad. So that was the thing that was stopping me. So after I knocked that out the way, I was like, cool, that's out the way. I don't want to deal with that no more. So then I started getting more and more honest with myself. It's me that's stopping me from, it's me putting myself in a position of when I want to eat and how I'm eating, how I'm feeding myself. It's me putting me in that position. Everything else is secondary. Everything else is a prop or the green screen that I'm standing behind or I'm standing in front of to keep me doing the same exact thing. To keep me from, you know what, I need to tap into my own, I need to do my own thing in that space. Eventually, what I learned was, as I started changing as I really started embracing the change of myself, embracing the inspiration to myself, I noticed that anything that was not meant to be around me started to play itself off. That's the only way that I could see it. I couldn't see it if I stayed in that position of, but yo, you got to come over here and do this with me. It wasn't for them. I had to embrace my pace. A lot of times when we want to embrace this higher level for ourselves, we get, that fear comes in. You like, but if I go too far ahead, everybody else gonna be behind. Like they're gonna be way back there. That's where they need to be at. That's where they need to be at. You got to be okay with them being where they're at. Stop putting yourself in this position where you're like, no, I don't want to do this part. I'm going to give you the realest thing about that I've learned over the last couple of months. Just over the last couple of months in my practice is me being that psychotherapist, me being this occult psychologist. And it's okay though. It's like, as long as you're steady in your pace, it's always good. As long as you're truthful in your steady in your pace, it's always going to be all right for you. It's when you start telling yourself like, yeah, man, I'm going to take these baby steps, and then you really are not making the move. But I noticed for myself, and just me being the occult psychologist, me taking on this title, I had to embrace a different mindset. I noticed that me being a speaker, me giving out lectures, me teaching, I had to take on a different mindset. I couldn't use the same old mindset. That means anything that was not on that level would not challenge me. So now I look for the challenge. Like the challenge is subconsciously, because remember I've talked about this 70-30 rule and the 70-30 rule of how I can put my energy together. 30% of my energy goes into 30% of my energy goes into setting my intention. No more, no less. 30%. 40% goes into me creating the space that's building around my intention. I say that for this reason of an embrace, because a lot of us like to put a lot of time and thought into our intention, and we don't put anything around to harness or to holster our intention. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, like my ear been ringing for the last 6 hours. The only thing that stopped my ear from ringing is when I put music into my ear. But now what you put yourself into this thought process, it's time when you set an intention, understanding that it's only about 30% of your energy. Only about 30% of your energy. You put any more energy into your intention, you're going to talk yourself out of it. You're going to talk yourself right out of it. I remember setting the first intention of me going to the gym, and I was like, all right, cool. Like, I started really, really thinking about it. Here's my intention to go to the gym. And then I started putting more and more energy, like, but in order for me to go to the gym, I got to have the right pants. I got to have the right shorts, and I got to have the right water bottle. And then I would talk myself out of going to the gym. Like, I ain't got it yet, so I can't go. Instead of me sitting there looking at myself like, what did my grandmother always used to tell me? Come as you are, baby. Come as you are. Like, it didn't matter. It's come as you are. So, like, then I went into the, like, so now going to the gym is like, at first, it was so many layers that I would put on to myself. I still wear a hoodie and I still got out. Now I wear shorts because one part of my body got to breathe or I'm going to overheat. It's in knowing yourself. You embracing this pace is ultimately knowing yourself. You know the things that are going to make you comfortable, and you know the things that are going to make you uncomfortable. Start going into the things that are making you uncomfortable. That's one of the major keys of embracing your pace. Going into the things that make you uncomfortable. Nothing's stopping you. That's nothing stopping you but you going into that space. Nothing stopping you take this thought process in your mind. Nothing stopping you other than you saying, well, that might not work or that's not going to go there. Why? If you can't put a why to it, remember on Friday I asked about your why. If you can't put a why to it, a true why to it, then you made an excuse for yourself. You know you made an excuse for yourself when you can't put a true why that's based on informing, based on response. Remember, there's a difference between response and reaction. A lot of us like to use the what based on the what is that reaction. Remember Friday we talked about that what being the reaction, that when being the reaction, but we going into how and why. How can I formulate the structure that way when I get there, I'm already there. That's how, like, now when I'm anxious, now when I'm in that state of anxiousness, it's like, it's not the same feeling anymore. It's not anxiousness. It's like, I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready to, I can ride that wave. I can ride that. I'm like, yeah, I'm in it. If I'm here and I'm feeling it and I'm excited, instead of me getting the nervousness or reacting based on being overwhelmed, oh my God, I'm not ready for this, and then starting to talk myself off the ledge. No, I need to stay on that ledge. I need to jump off the ledge. You can talk yourself out of anything based on how you set your intention. Your intention is to grow. That's 30%. 40% of now that 40% of how you holster that energy of you growing, that's what you focused on. That's what you build and that's what you seed into. That's going to help you when you fall down to this level, when you come down into the physical level ready to build into that. That's that 30% of that energy that's concentrated in that space. So you're always going to make an impact. When you embrace that pace, you're always going to make an impact. The things that are truly helping you connect to your higher self, they're going to challenge everything about you. It's gonna make you feel some type of way. It's gonna make you all that stuff that you've been trying to bottle up. You like, but I need a reason to be. All that shit that's been bottled up. It's ready to come out. It wouldn't come out if it wasn't ready. You got to learn how to set that pace for yourself. That's all in your attention. You said you wanted to grow. You said you wanted to explore new things. You said you wanted to expand yourself. What did you think was going to happen? That overlaying aspect. When I remember I talked about it in the podcast, the Leyline podcast. That overline, that your whole terrain is going to change based on you wanting to grow. Just think about it in the physical aspect. I remember in the physical aspect when I first went plant-based. When I first went plant-based and vegan, it was like so many different things started popping up that were different. And I was like, oh, I never seen that over there before. Oh, I never did that before. And it was less of me trying to convert myself because I was in this tone of discomfort. that price line that came out of my mouth. I was like, man, but if I go over there, because I remember listening to everything, trying to listen to everything to try to keep me in a certain space. I'd be like, someone said being vegan is expensive. I said, no, not if you know how to cook. And then I would follow that streamline. To me, I was building my trade lines. The trade lines, my expenses, my assets. Am I building my trade lines based on me being in that asset mentality? This is an asset to me. Therefore, everything that comes from this, every time I put something into that, it's going to bring me something back even more. That's the asset mentality that we're getting into. A lot of us like to put ourselves into this space with our mindset. The old mindset based on the liability. I have us writing up that script. Remember, I talked about that script on Friday. If you did not look at the lecture, Gotta Go Alchemist, the YouTube channel, we got into those scripts. I wrote this script for myself that was co-produced by my wound. I wrote the script out that was co-produced by my wound. So if I cannot have my wound was my original agent. If my wound was not present when I did the signing, then I didn't want it. And this is something that we got to be honest with ourselves. How many times did you allow your wound to co-sign you going into that space? That's the role, the script that you chose. You want this lead role. You want to be the leading lady, the leading man, the lead in your field, the lead in your potential. But you keep getting the lead extra role because your trauma is going to take the front seat. Your trauma is going to be the Leonardo DiCaprio, and you get to take one of the lesser roles. You get to be your trauma is going to take on Denzel Washington in Training Day, and then have you dying at the end. And you like, nigga, I didn't want to die. Like, I wanted to learn. Why couldn't I get away? Because your trauma helps you write that script. Your trauma, a lot of times for us, I remember I'm guilty of it. Everybody can be guilty of it. You got to be open with yourself and being guilty. I was guilty of the props in the green screen, the remakes in the note takes, and later on saying, ooh, this is the director's cut for myself. That's how I wrote my script. I wrote my script based on the props in the green screen. So like I could sit there, like just as easy as I can sit here right now. I'm in the most comfortable space for me to be able to do how I live, because I'm in sync with the area, instead of me having a green screen. That green screen behind me, I could easily be outside in some trees. That ain't me. Like, why don't you go out in the trees for it? If I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to do it. A lot of us like to acquire the props before we acquire that lesson. You have to start acquiring the lessons to yourself. Taking that time with yourself. If you're not there, you're not there. If you're not there, you're not there. Stop trying to put yourself too fast to go through a certain result. I'll use an example now. Where I'm at now into my transition journey of my body wise, it matches my spiritual stamina. It matches my emotional endurance. It matches where I'm at. It's where I'm at. If I wasn't ready for it, then my ego, remember I've talked about that aspect. When you're trying to jump too far ahead, your ego has to fill up the rest of the space. Because I've been at this size before. I've been at this level before. But my ego filled up the rest of the space. So when it came time for me to really keep going forward, fell out, lost it, stopped eating the way I needed to eat, stopped doing what I needed to do, stopped speaking the way I was speaking to myself, started doubting myself, shutting myself back down. And then before you knew it, I was back to the same size that I was before. Back in the same mindset that I was before. I ended up reverting myself back to where I was before. Because I allowed my ego to run the show. I allowed that acceptance. Ooh, I got accepted. Okay, cool. I'm good. I ain't got to do no more. I'm not feeling neglected. I can stay there right. I can stay right there. So I put everything on hold. This is you not embracing your pace. Everything right now, you in the right position. What are you going to do with it? Right now, you in the right position. What are you learning at this moment in time? How are you opening yourself up at this minute in time? The truest aspects based on connection, is going to challenge everything about you. It's going to challenge everything. When it comes to that connection, it's challenging everything about you. It's going to put you in a position to where every time you leave from that space, it's impossible to avoid. That true connection to your true self, to everything that's going to match that frequency of you, that vibration, is going to put you in a space where you are going to welcome the impossibility to avoid. You'll know that it's something that's meant for you. And this is something that I learned. You'll know that it's something that is meant to take you to the next level, because every time you go away from it and come back to it, it's almost like this. It's almost like you can't wait to dive in. You can't wait to dive into it. But that's how you're going to learn how to deal with those urges. It's not based on avoidance. Don't shut off your urges. Don't shut up. I'm not going to do this because no, you need to learn that urge, because that's the only thing that's going to foster your energy as you down here. Sometimes we like, man, I'm a cut myself off from this because of this. It's cool to do it in the beginning while you're taking yourself away from it. But if it keeps coming up, it's time for you to deal with it. That means you can sit there and every time, like for a whole week, everything that come across your timeline on your TV screen can be Rihanna's Fenty joints all over your page and timeline. Well, oh my God, why is all this? Because it's time for you to embrace that energy. Stop trying to cut yourself off. You can go up there and you can see whoever y'all women like now, Tay Diggs and the other nigga, Idris Elba, and all them other niggas, and all them other dudes, like whatever, and you like, oh my God, he make me feel some type of way. Embrace that energy. Learn it. Learn that energy for yourself. Stop trying to, nah, man, because that's not right. That's not what I should be doing. Who said? If it's in your space, it's meant for you to learn it. That's what you embracing. Embrace the pace of learning and taking yourself to the next level. Embrace this pace. That's the only way you're going to integrate with your shadow. Remember, I'm always getting into this aspects of your shadow work. You integrating with your shadow. You understanding them aspects of you. Letting them triggers open you up. Stop trying to, no, I want to be triggered. I don't want to be upset. Stop letting them triggers make you constrict. Allow them to open you up. That's what they're supposed to do. The shifts, the rifts, the ripple effect. I want you to be the best. I don't know why I made that as a song. I want you to be the best. I want you to tap into that higher aspect of yourself. I desire you to be the best version of you. I desire you to remove all limitations. I desire you to start writing your own script. I desire you to take ownership. That LLC mentality. I want you to be the best. Everything for me, from readings, setting up that shadow work consultation with me, setting up a reading. Every reading is a mini consultation, or you can go all out and get that shadow work consultation with me. Any services from spiritual baths, spiritual awakening products, all of that good stuff, GottaCoAlchemistLLC.com, or you can hit me in the inbox, or you can hit me in the DM. There's nothing stopping you. There's nothing else stopping you. You here for a reason. Let it resonate and help your ass elevate. I love you. We love us. Ashe.